He's always like carved out his own niche in BMX and in life.
I think if I had to describe Brad's riding style in one word, I'd have to say it's powerful.
Pure power.
Just raw power.
He's a beast. He has a set of skills I don't think anyone else has. And to me, that's like a greatness, is like someone who looks like or does things like no one else. I don't know anyone else who rides like him.
Waldorf, Maryland, it's like a suburb of DC. You know, it definitely had its problems, and you know, some of the places could be dangerous. And you know, there's a lot of temptation to do bad things.
I've been to where he's from. Yeah, he's from nothing. Yeah, I've never heard him complain about it though. A lot of people I used to film with in the early 2000s are from similar upbringings, and they let you know about it. You know, it was almost an excuse. You know, it was never on some like gangster rapper, like I'm from the hood kind of behavior. I don't know, he took something negative and made it positive. What better story is there than that? It's the dream, essentially, what he's doing right now.
How Brad got involved with BMX, his uncle was really into racing, Mark Thompson. Super fast, you know, was racing single A pro, and Brad just, you know, wanted to hang out with his brother and his uncle and the older kids. Like he just, you know, tagged along. He's riding with, you know, people who are 5, 6, 7 years like older than him. You know, the bike control that he's learning, it's way more than like most, you know, 10 or 11 year olds. He was out there just beating people who are definitely way stronger than him. He was just smoking them. Brad's home life was a little bit turbulent. He would just get dropped off for weeks at a time at my house. You know, that got him out of like the turmoil and stuff that was going on back home. I ended up getting on Bulldog and kind of talking to Jimmy about, I was like, oh man, there's this kid Brad that we ride with, like you should, you know, like hook him up too. I think his uncle started to fade out of racing for a little bit, and then he kind of just faded into what we did, which was primarily just riding trails and riding street. He was on Bulldog, and that kind of evolved into like him being like a street guy for Bulldog as he started getting like, there was definitely like a transition period where he like kind of moved from like trails into more street stuff. As he got older and was still down in like Waldorf, Maryland, like there's no trails down there anymore, so he was just kind of, you know, just riding what he could. So I think he just kind of naturally just, you know, if he wanted to ride, he was just, you know, riding whatever street there was around there. And then from there, it just, you know, it never really stopped. He got the call from like Chad Shack to do a shook part.
As a whole, BMX's introduction to Brad was definitely his shook part. I feel like everybody remembers it.
I'm Brad Sims, and I like the 180 over high stuff.
Really was like an introduction into like quintessential Brad. It really did represent his riding from an early age.
When that part came out, like that really opened people's eyes. You know, I think that really set things in motion for him. Like that definitely led him to getting on Hoffman, leaving Bulldog for Hoffman.
Yeah, when I saw Brad, I just knew I really wanted to support him and have him to be a part of Hoffman Bikes.
Memories turn to dust, I'm free to see free, trapped in damnation. I run alone at speed with every man chasing, my heart's racing, feel a lot of distrust.
I think he knew like it was gonna change his life. I don't think he realized like the travel aspect of it.
Hoffman had this deal with Target and they had this crazy travel budget, and he just took every opportunity he had.
Traveling was an escape from home life, you know, what his friends are getting into. You know, his friends are starting to do dumb shit, get locked up, and you know, like, you know, he has this BMX thing and he has like opportunity to like get out, and like he took that opportunity.
Things really started taking off for him in the pro career sense. He got a signature frame with Hoffman Bikes called the B-Rad. He was going on Props Road Fools trips. And then he started getting invited to X Games when the street competition started. I really think that those international trips sparked Brad's love for international travel.
He can go anywhere in the world and not know anybody and just fit right in and just be a part of the culture and the community. And he's completely comfortable, and he's got his bike and, you know, a rock to lay his head on, and that's all he needs.
He has slept on dirt floors in probably more countries than I have been to. He's experienced more uncomfortable situations than I can ever imagine, and he has welcomed them with open arms.
He took it upon himself to travel the world and learn languages and cultures. And I mean, aside from his skill set riding, like he has a knowledge that there's very few people I've ever met that have experienced what he's experienced.
After Hoffman Bikes parted ways with Target, their travel budget went away. So Brad went out to do his own international travel with very minimal sponsor support for the better part of a decade.
The problem with like the deals that Brad has had is they've been very like sporadic. If he could have had like, you know, a couple things going at once, he would have been comfortable, but it's always like he gets like a deal here and it lasts for a little bit, then he has nothing, then he gets another deal, and then, you know, it's just, they've never all come together at the right time to just give him some sort of stability.
He was kind of mysterious, you know? Everyone knew how good he was if you'd seen him in person or seen the clips he dropped, but he wasn't consistently putting out video parts and going and winning contests. He was every once in a while dropping an edit he'd film with a friend he was staying with in Istanbul or something like that. He was like this mystery, one of the best street riders in the world, but to a sponsor, they might have been like, where's Brad and what's he doing, you know? Even though he was riding, he was killing it, but he was doing it in a way that nobody else was doing it.
The travel stuff is a little bit weird because I feel like there was that era in BMX where it was about the travel, you know, the wanderlust in BMX of like finding that epic spot and stuff like that. And then kind of like Instagram kind of crushed that almost, you know, where it just became this now delivery thing. And then it was like, where's Brad? Where is he? You know, I think there was a joke, and I think he even fed into it at a point, was like, where in the world is Brad Sims? BMX as a whole didn't necessarily know. I think it benefited him for a while, and then eventually it took a turn. If a brand can't get a hold of you or they can't fly you from Poland for a trip, it just becomes counterproductive for them. And I think in the end, it really did hurt Brad's career on the BMX side. From a life experience standpoint, Brad won 5 years ago. You know, like he really did. And I don't think he would take any of it back.
He'd been traveling the world for a decade now, and the sponsors kind of just stopped coming to the door. He had a few little core brands helping him out here and there, but you really didn't see much of Brad. Everyone knew he was still shredding, still doing his thing, but yeah, at this point, the travel budgets, I think, were running lower. He was staying in places way longer, and then this opportunity for real BMX X Games comes to him, and that's when everyone's like, whoa. Brad Sims is getting to film a high production video part for X Games? Like, this is gonna be it. We're gonna get to see a Brad part finally. First time in a long time.
Yeah, it took me by surprise. I think it surprised a lot of people, but I think Brad also knew that that was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
You could tell the fire was really lit up under him to do good.
That first section was so wild. And it kind of revived the idea of what Brad could do in a lot of people's eyes.
The Real BMX like reintroduced him to like a whole nother generation of BMXers who probably had no idea who he was.
He got a bronze medal, he won fan favorite, got invited back the next year, which not a lot of people do, and then gets another medal. And so 2 years back to back, 2 awesome video parts, and it was like no denying that Brad's back.
The Real BMX part proved that he can put together an amazing video part, not once, but twice. He has the work ethic, he has all the talent, he has the eye for spots, he has the progressive technical riding with the danger. He has really the full package that people want to see and that I think is revered in BMX.
I think when everyone saw Brad's video parts from X Games, they all had the same thought as me, is like, all right, like when is this dude's next career gonna start with BMX? Because, you know, he's medaled in X Games twice, he's got fan favorite, like he's proven that you give him an opportunity, he's gonna make the most of it. I think with what he did in X Games, that should have been enough to, you know, solidify what he can do and what he has to offer to a company.
I don't know why the sponsors weren't knocking after the 2 Real BMX parts. It had to be frustrating. It's got to be weird to be in that place mentally where you push so hard and you get the accolades in a certain degree and you go, okay, am I still going to be able to do this?
It was a time where he was just considering, like, he's like, man, I think I'm just done with it.
There was a point that Brad said, I'm going to give it 6 months, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to pursue being a BMX pro anymore. And that's crazy. In the end, he really just set a plan for Instagram.
Brad's always been like on the social media thing. Like he had one of those T-Mobile sidekicks back in the day. He was aiming people all over the world. You know, he had the MySpace, he had the Facebook. Like he's always been like pretty social media savvy.
And that's when Brad just started going out there, throwing his friends the phone and just banging out clips every day. So it was like undeniable. Every time you looked at your Instagram, boom, Brad Sims video, and it's insane.
It's stuff that like nobody can do. You look at it, you're like, oh, well, you're the only person who can make that happen.
And yeah, you'd see all these legends just freaking out in the comments, and he was just blowing up.
Every day I get excited for the coffee and the Brad Sims wake-up call.
The stuff that he does, just like, it just resonates with his peers and with people who like, you know, have no idea what BMX even is.
He paid attention to what worked and what didn't, what times to post stuff and what times to not post stuff, how often to post stuff. It wasn't a mistake that Brad started to blow up online. You know, it's not a fluke. It wasn't like, oh, this went viral. Like, he purposely made that happen. He fucking did it. Along with that came actual BMX sponsorships. You got Adidas, BMX team is, who's on the team? Oh, just Brad. Like, got a Taco Bell commercial.
And I remember my mom calling me and was like, was Brad in a Taco Bell commercial?
A beefy 5-layer? Nah, man, more like a bean burrito.
I just saw, I think it was him. I was like, yeah, he was in a Taco Bell commercial, Mom.
He got posted by Instagram's Instagram, which has like 100 million followers. I have no idea.
He's putting BMX in front of the eyes of people that never would have seen it before. You know, if Instagram's taking notice to it and that's the platform that the whole entire world seems to revolve around, like, I think it's safe to say he's doing something right.
By the end of 2020, Brad had racked up a Nora Cup Reader's Choice Award, a Vital BMX Rider of the Year Award, accolades from basically anybody else in BMX.
You know, now he's just proven to himself and to everybody else that, like, you don't need to be on some team with a bunch of people or like doing what everybody else is doing to find success. Like, he found success in his own path.
You know, he ended up getting picked up by Fit. You know, it might not have worked out, but you know, it got him to the next level, because had Fit not come about, Brad might be, you know, working security, you know, riding a bike once a month, and, you know, so many crazy things he's done in the last year might not have ever happened. That 6 months of like hard work that he put into, like, it resonated with people in the BMX industry, but also other industries. So I think it opened a lot of doors, you know, mountain bikes, say what you want about it. But yeah, I mean, the dude is an athlete. Yeah, like I can see like why like that would be appealing to a mountain bike company. Like, even though like it's definitely gotten a lot of hate, but those people like don't know Brad. Like, they know Brad as like a BMX street rider. They don't know that he grew up like racing, riding trails, you know, killing skate parks. He's like just an overall incredible bike rider. At the end of the day, like, the mountain bike thing is enabling Brad to keep riding BMX. finally he's gonna be able to afford to like have some stability, get health insurance, and start taking better care of himself and being able to keep doing the crazy shit he does on a BMX bike. To me, like, Brad's career is like really just starting to like take off. It's like I feel like he's had like a bunch of false starts. Like, things have started to work out, then company cuts their team or something like that. And like now it's like, let's see what Brad can do with like some actual like backing behind it.
And I think that's well earned, especially when you think of all the years he traveled around poor. A whole new chapter's open, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where he takes this. It's been fascinating so far, that's for sure.
He famous. He got his checkpoint on his Instagram. I can't believe it.
I've been around this for a long time, and I've seen so many talented people give up when they don't like get where they want to be by the time they're like 22. And that's even kind of old. To stick it out to your mid-30s and never fail as a rider, but maybe like as what people consider a career, and keep sticking it out and then actually have it work in your mid-30s this is like a once-in-a-lifetime tale, essentially. I can't think of anything like it in bike riding, right? There's nothing even close. We're kind of living one of the great stories right now. I'm happy for him. He deserves it.